right, guys. This is take 2. I hope it works this time. I can see you guys in the comments. Am I freezing? Doesn't look like I'm freezing. Can you guys hear me okay? Leave me some notes in the comments so I can make sure that you guys can hear me this time. I've moved to a different room in my house, but it's weird because I was connected like not through Wi-Fi, through my actual internet, which was like 946 M, whatever the number is. I'm not a technician, but yeah, let me know. And I just saw that the same amount of people were in the waiting room for this live stream as the last one. So thank you for hanging around. I am certainly the biggest hot mess human on YouTube, and I have no right being here, quite honestly. Okay, internet is premium now. Yay. Okay, maybe I just have to do them from here from now on. The only problem is when I do them from here, I'm working off my laptop, so it slows me down. So you guys are megabits per second. See, you need a man in your life. Yeah, it slows me down. So you guys are going to have to bear with me, but I still will get through everything. And you know what? I'm going to hang out with you. However long it takes, it's how long it takes. Who cares? Let's go through some stuff. But be sure to smash that like button nice and early, especially if this is working. If you're new here, welcome. Can only get better from here. And for the tribe, welcome back. Thank you guys for being around. You guys are awesome. All right, it looks like I'm moving my office to my dining room because you guys are saying it's awesome. The lighting is better here too. I love that. I love that woman comment. Yeah, it's the Dubai sun. Okay, you guys hit like, and I'm going to get into the contents of this video so we can talk about it just in case something goes wrong. So is my sound okay? Because this is just working off my laptop. It's probably not going to be the best. Okay, sounds good. Okay, let's go. We've got some action here. Okay, so I'm going to do top down. As I said on the last live stream that didn't work out, we're going to go top down Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. So I'm going to try and speed through this so that we can get all the time frames done. So whether you're investing, trading, whatever, hopefully we have a bit of a plan. So starting with Bitcoin, this is a chart. Obviously, I've been showing you guys this for months. Must be bored of it by now, but I do want to explain some potential thoughts that are not going to be great. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So first of all, if you have been watching this channel, you will know this pattern because I talked about this really for quite some time now, and I've been talking about the entire like range that we have going on, which is the halving accumulation range. Okay, that's kind of what we're in now. These dates have changed. They weren't supposed to be there. We have to ignore these dates because they're not meant to be that far. Anyway, whatever, we won't talk about that. So what we were talking about prior to today, where I have changed my mind a little bit, so I'll explain that, but let's go back first. I was talking about this level right here being the potential drop 1 after a trapping volume formation, and I just realized that my EMAs aren't on. Like, can I be any worse today? Seriously? Lucky I'm smart because my what do you call it? Preparation skills, they're not that great. Anyway, so we talked about this being level 1, this being a retracement, and this being level 2 on the daily time frame. And in the last few weeks, we were hoping, I guess we were hoping to come back down for a level 3 to take out this liquidity, because once it's taken out, you know, we kind of know, okay, damage done, now we're good, bull market continue, right? But that didn't happen. And that actually puts you in a worse situation because now we have to sit and wait even longer to know, like, well, are they still going to come for it or are they just going to leave it there? And so we're kind of like, you know, we're in this unknown phase of not knowing, and they may come for it at an unexpected moment. So kind of like it when they just take it and then we're like, okay, cool, they took it, now we can move on. But they haven't done that. And we were prepping for this because on the 4-hour time frame, I told you guys to look out for a potential W formation, which I'll show you on the 4-hour time frame in a second. Turned out that's what we got. Now I'm going to explain to you why and where my mind might be changed. This here, which we identified as level 1 drop, retrace level 2, I'm actually starting to think the entire thing is a sideways level 1 drop. And so when it comes to drops and rises in this method, just in case you're not aware, we're always looking for 3 levels to play out. So this is, rise situation, this is rise 1, this is rise 2, and through here was rise 3. When they increase in price, so the rises increase in price and the drops decrease in price, they're called stacked levels, right? They're stacked levels. But in addition to stacked levels, you can also have sideways levels. So the levels are never about whether price rises or drops. They're about the big spikes in volume, which we assume to only come from a market maker, which is why we use these candles, because these candles measure an increase in volume that is so large that we would assume it has to be a market maker, because retail just can't bring in that much volume in one candle. So in this situation, it's very easy to count rises and drops when they increase and decrease in value. It's a bit harder to count them when they are sideways. So if this does turn out to only be a level 1 drop, it could end up that what we do, and it kind of makes sense with where we are in the cycle, that we just continue to do this until we reach the phase where it's time for the halving accumulation for price to break out. And look, one of these could end up being a stop hunt that takes some of this liquidity along the way, or the liquidity might go because people might take profit, who knows. So this is just something I want to keep in mind. And the reason why I say we should keep it in mind is because this here, where we had the rise in Bitcoin, when was it? During the week, last week, whenever, it didn't create a higher high. So really it's only come back to this level and to this level here, and the trapping volume formation is still actually intact. So trapping volume formation, should I get rid of it? Then I have to draw it again. Let's just get rid of it. So that you know very clear, this is a trapping volume formation where you have a spike high, or if we were in a bear market, it would be a spike low. But you have a spike high, and there's a little bit that is left behind where price never returns to, and you call those people the trapped traders. So this would be people went long, right? So in order for a candle to print, there has to be someone who went long, there has to be someone who went short. So people bought up here probably because they had FOMO from this massive move and just thought it was never going to end. And now, if they haven't been liquidated already, or they haven't just cut their losses, they're trapped in a long position whilst price is coming down here and it's never returned to their entry. And that's what a trapping volume formation is, when they trap initially and then they come close a number of times, but they never actually go back to that price and they just go sideways. And so what's happening in the sideways is the market maker is accumulating contracts, and they're accumulating the contracts because they need it for the next big move. Now, the next big move, you can kind of gauge how big that move is going to be dependent on how long they hold the trapping volume formation. So the fact that they've held this already for, how long has it been? 88 days. Actually, I think is this date actually right? It should be around 120. No, the dates, I don't know how those dates move themselves. But anyway, the fact that they've held it so far, like, it just sort of really adds to the fact that this is the market maker accumulating, and for as long as they do it, like the longer they kind of do it in this range, the better, because it just means the bigger the move is going to be that follows, which we hope is going to be a breakout, and continuation of the bull market. We don't know that yet. So point being, if they really wanted to hold this range for a few more months, like usually this range is 120 days. That's why I'm saying my dates somehow have moved themselves. So 120 days would be about here. So 27th of June. So I'm just going to move this back. And then there's a bad astro period coming up. And I don't know why that moved, but I can't tell you what it is because it's moved. But anyway, moral of the story is we have about, I think it's until about June 6th of good astrology. So the thing that we have to keep in mind is that, we're in this accumulation range. If they just put their rises and drops within the range, great. We know that any rise, any drop in this range is just hunting liquidity, all great. The only other thing that would be bullish on this daily time frame is we can see one green vector and two green vectors here. So that could be two spikes within a rise, which would mean there should be a third one to come. Now price might, if we're lucky, it might come down to the 50 EMA, then come up, take out this liquidity is waiting up here, then come back into the range. We don't know, but that is one possible scenario. So keeping all that in mind, let's have a look at the 4-hour time frame. And the 4-hour time frame, to me, like when I see a retail pattern on a weekend, it's, you know, it's a very easy kind of trap because, you know, we know the market maker's not around, and if they're setting up retail patterns, usually the pattern will fail. Solstice is the time in June, be careful. Yeah, but there's something else more than that. Why are you guys saying, oh no? Oh no what? Don't tell me, oh no internet. No way, it's not gone again. No, 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 no. That's crazy, it's so high. Wait a second. Can you guys hear me? I'm gonna try the bathroom. Can you guys hear me? It's not coming back. Doesn't look like it's coming back. What's happening here? I mean, it looks fine to me. Let me try this. Okay, we are back. We're back. Are we back? Some are saying freezing. Some are saying back. Are we back? We're back? Okay, we're back. That is so weird. Like, I'm literally going to do a speed test in front of you guys. You'll see how fast my internet is. I have a feeling it might be OBS giving problems. Okay, it's good now. All right, let me get faster then so we can get through this. So what I was saying, if you guys didn't hear, on the 4-hour time frame, weekend pattern, when I see a retail pattern on a weekend, it's usually a trap. What we have here is this trend line breakout that's happened throughout the week, and price really has not gone anywhere since. We missed a couple minutes. Okay, a couple minutes we can all live. So therefore, let's go down to the 1 hour, because the 1 hour shows something pretty interesting. So this is the weekend trap happening so far, now that you know that retail trend line on the 4-hour time frame. We do have some wicks up here which could show that we're currently inducing long traders. But we're above the 50 EMA, which is still currently bullish. We're also above last week's high of the week. Now, what I want to talk to you about on the 1 hour time frame is the liquidity. Speak very fast, I'm trying. Is the liquidity. Guys, the fact that the internet's working, smash that like button, because, you know, we want to show that, that if they're nice to us, more people will watch. So anyway, I want to talk about these liquidity zones. So I marked out some interesting areas. Currently, we have this area above price here, which sits between about 69.690 and 74.80. Haven't spiked into it yet. And the other thing to note is that these two spikes in the weekend trap at this point in time have not actually liquidated anyone. So the false move of the week beginning has not yet happened, and we're essentially just in the range. I want to see if this false move takes us up into this liquidity zone, and then we will have to reassess what happens there. There's also a red vector there. It could take us up, you know, and then because, you know, here would be, well, actually, no, it wouldn't. Doesn't matter. But it could take us up and continue is what I was going to say. So we need to wait and see. If it goes up, let me give you two scenarios. I don't think this is the most likely, but we'll see. If it goes up, comes back, creates a lower high, that's it. It was just coming to take this out and it's reversing back the other way. That's not the play that I want to see happen. The other option is it comes up, comes back, maintains the 50 EMA, and then we're coming up for these higher levels. Now, why I'm favoring that to happen is because of the trading light heat map orders. So we have fairly significant short orders at 72 grand and 73,200. Faster. Run, Annii. You guys are funny. So let me show you this heat map. So here we have hit 72 grand, we have 902 orders currently, and then 73,200 we have 838. So therefore I'm kind of hoping that, you know, they're up here, those two levels, and that lines up with a previous unrecovered kind of zone. So you know, I wouldn't mind if this was the W formation break, weekend trap, maybe a stop hunt to the downside, then we come up here and take out this, end up here somehow, and maybe by that time it's midweek reversal, I'm not sure. But to me, when I look at where the longs are on the heat map, it's down at 65,875, and to me that just seems too typical, right? That's people trying to still buy the support down here and hope that price comes back down into the support. So yeah, I don't know. That seems a little bit too far away for me. You know, the lowest hanging fruit, as I say, the liquidity closest to the current price is to the upside. So that's what I'm looking for. You know, we don't have any trap traders now to know. So let me move on to Ethereum, because Ethereum is the more important lesson here that I want to spend time on. And this is going to be a really good lesson for people who have not yet actually like joined us to learn the full system, which by the way, if you haven't, why not? You should. The link is in the description of this video. But with ETH, on the daily time frame, we can see here that we held this support level a lot. We had this trend line, we got the breakout. This would be considered actually only level 1 rise on ETH on the daily time frame, and that's it. But they left behind this liquidity, which we were kind of hoping they would take. Again, like I said before, if they just come and take it, then we know it's taken, it's done, and we can continue on with there. But for as long as it stays there, there's always a risk that it's coming back. And that's why liquidity to the downside in a bull market, we don't like it. Like, just take it so we can move on, you know? So if they leave it there, then you have to always prepare that something more dramatic may come in the future. No freezing on my end. is onto the stream. No wonder. I think so. I think it's a buffering issue on YouTube. Yeah, like everything on my end is green and saying great. So I'm really not sure about that. But anyway, so rise there. Okay. So we know this daily time frame, rise 1 above all EMAs, liquidity is above price. This liquidity is very far from the current price. Doesn't make sense to go there. Wait, there was another level. Why is it not showing here now? Why have my charts changed themselves? I'm telling you, Mr. Market Maker is on to us. Anyway, let's talk about the 4-hour time frame. So with this 4-hour time frame, what if I just refresh it? Maybe it will come back, because that was a really important level I wanted to show you. Is it there? It's not there. Whoa, maybe I hid it. Hold on a second. Did I hide it? Let's just put this here. No. Is it this one? No. Anyway, okay, it doesn't matter. Basically, I have to estimate, okay, but down here is a high level of liquidity, right? I remember that it was at the bottom of this green vector and the top of this one. So about 33.70 to 34.50-ish kind of region. Just keep that in mind. But let's talk about this. So on that breakout, we had this here, which was a rise, a retrace, a rise. This here was the last time I think I was on YouTube where I said to you guys, look for a retest here. If we get the retest, we might get level 3. We got the level 3, okay? So now we know where we are there on the 4-hour time frame. We've only been ranging ever since. Now I want to show you the 1 hour for the lesson, and I swear to God, oh, praise the Lord Jesus Christ. My drawings are there. Okay, so, here it is. That was the message where I said 2 rises we may break out. This is what I want to talk to you about right here. This is a very important price action to reassess in consolidation. What happened here after we had our 3 rises, just to make sure that you guys can count them, okay? Rise, and then a very big rise, which was a news event rise. After you have that, you know, 3 rises, we then expect some reversal signal and we expect 3 drops. There is something called a reset, and they happen in different ways. And this is one of the ways. There's about 4 of them. So they trying to stop you, don't stop. Yeah, he used to be my friend. I don't know why he's trying to stop me now. He's probably thinking like, you're showing too many people our secrets. But anyway, so this here is called a type 2 reset, and I'm going to explain it in detail. When we zoom out, a type 2 reset is when Asia creates a range, right? We know Asia's job is to create a range. It only consolidates, and that's its job. It does that. Once that has finished, price breaks out one way in UK, which is what we can see happened here. Then in the next session in US, it breaks the other way, opposite to UK, which is what we can see here. So you essentially have this zigzag within the 2 sessions. Then the very next day, the same Asia range should form that is equal to the first Asia range. So price essentially stays in the exact same range that it was in Asia. So you have range, a false breakout up, a false breakout down, back into the exact same range. That's what this is here. It's called a reset. And what it is the market makers spiking positions both ways, again, to build their own contracts and to liquidate. No, not again, not again, not again. Wait a second, maybe it will just come back. You know what? Maybe if I just turn this off, I wonder if that will change anything. Are we back? Because that was a really important lesson. I think the MM is up to something. Hello, are we back? Let me see what's going on here. We're back. Okay. Thanks, Janet. We are back. Okay. So the moral of the story is this becomes a reset, and it should actually be bullish with a breakout. The only problem that I have, however, I forgot to explain one more thing about the type 2 reset. After that second Asia range, you'll get a stop hunt, or in this particular case, a W formation, and the stop hunt is the trigger to let you know that we're continuing. So because the prior trend was to the upside, and we went into the type 2 reset, we would expect the stop hunt or the false move out of Asia to be to the downside, which it was. And then you should have continuation from there. So in this case, we've got a W formation. The only reason we don't have continuation yet is because all of that happened into Friday, and now we're in the weekend trap. Okay, so we have low volume and no trend. So what I would be waiting for on Ethereum this week is to see, we do have this breakout here happening right now. Let's see if there is no stop hunt on Ethereum, because the damage should already be done. Let's see if this now holds a new trend. So if it comes back in, you know, holds the 50 EMA, creates a higher low, and then it starts to change structure from there, there may not be a false move on Ethereum this week, and it may just continue up. What would invalidate this would be breaking back down the weekend trap box, okay? Go, go, go. Okay. All right. So yeah, keep that one in mind, because this is like such a good pattern to be able to identify what's going on. And it's probably like, yeah, it's, I hope you got some value out of that. If you did, smash the like button. Now, before I move on to Solana, let me just tell you a couple things. Forex Factory shows us here that we have a bank holiday for the UK session as well as the US session tomorrow. That means Asia is the only session that can make a move. Sometimes when there's a bank holiday in one session, you will get a session behavioral shift. So Asia might do something amazing tomorrow. We don't know. But the other thing that can happen is the whole day is dead boring. Another thing that you need to be aware of is if the market makers are off duty for UK and US, the volume tends to be lower, which means that it's easier for the whales to manipulate price, which means price might be very unpredictable tomorrow. If it moves and it moves unexpectedly, know that something else is happening. It's not normal price action, and you should probably sit out. There's no point in trying to guess it. If you have to wait a day, you have to wait a day. We can get back to trading normally on Tuesday. But if any setup you see doesn't look 100% obvious tomorrow, save your money and just sit on your hands and wait because of these 2 bank holidays, and that makes price action very, very unpredictable. Trading light, I showed you the orders below price. There was only the 65, which, like I said, it's just too far from price. I'm more interested in these ones that are higher. And also we have created a team on Bitget for the KCGI comp. If you've been around for a while, you'll know last year we created one of the biggest teams in the English-speaking region. We're going to do it again. We always smash records. Come be a part of it. The link for everything is in the description of this video. I won't go back to YouTube in case it lags again, but just in the description of the video, that everything is there. It tells you how to get an account on Bitget with 20% trading fee discount, tells you how to join our team, and then finally it will tell you how to get into our Discord, because for our competitions now we're doing trade alerts, so you can follow along with the actual trade setups of myself and my team, but you can only do that if you join Bitget using the link down below. So get onto Bitget, get part of the team, let's smash it and hit new records again. Now, I also am going to talk about Solana, but I just want to quickly show a couple of things with the dominances, because Bitcoin dominance is creating an M formation. So we did have this ascending triangle breakout, but it is an M formation now. It is still currently within, it's back within the triangle. It's creating higher lows. It's okay. However, we want to make sure that we don't see a rejection here. Okay, because that could be bad. And this is a daily time frame, so it could take weeks for that to happen, but just this is what you want to keep an eye out on. We don't want to see a lower high form here. Moving on to USDT dominance, the scary thing about this current, well, it's not scary, but just to be aware of, if I zoom out on that, you can see we're in this downtrend, but this might be a change in trend. We have to wait and see. It is still a lower high, okay? So this is a lower high in comparison to this peak. So this might come through and create a lower low, and that's good. We want people like shifting out of USDT and into crypto. That would be a good scenario if the USDT dominance was to do something like that. However, if it holds this level now, because that's a green vector right there, and bounces, we may start to see a trend change on the USDT dominance. That's going to give you a bit of heads up that there might be some rough waters to come, so keep an eye on that. Then with the total market cap, this is excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, so we're only talking about other altcoins. This is also a little bit scary because we've got this formation up here. We've broken down. At this point in time, it's a lower high and it has not fully recovered this vector. So again, if it cannot break higher when we open this week, and it breaks the trend line and creates this lower high here, we may be in a little bit of trouble for altcoins. However, don't panic yet. Just wait for the week to open, because hang on, let me just draw this properly. Because if we think of it like this, right, this could be in the process of creating a higher high that then goes for this, that then breaks out. Okay, so don't freak out, just be prepared, watch that. Then some other things that are just to be aware of is the S&P here had this big drop through here and it's currently retracing. So if this doesn't create a higher high, again, stock market could be some trouble for crypto, and the same thing on NASDAQ as well, here as well. So we want to see these create higher highs when the market opens. Just keep an eye on that. So those are things I wanted to show you. Now let me very quickly get to Solana. Okay, where is it? So let me do I need to do daily time frame? Yeah, let's do. Okay, so the scary thing about Solana is the fact that it has created a daily time frame M formation. It's dropped through, and this retrace created another lower high, and it did not fully recover this vector right here. So that could mean if the daily time frame levels are to play out, it could mean that there are still 2 more drops to come on Solana. It doesn't always feed up that high. There's other things to watch on lower time frames, but just be prepared that that is what the daily time frame is showing us now. When I go to the 4-hour time frame, it's a little bit different. So what we can see here is that we had can you guys see that here? Trapped traders down here. And so this is where on the 4-hour time frame, we had a W formation, retrace here, and we could be retracing now to come up for these liquidation levels. That's what I would ideally want, because through here I can see this was a drop of the 50 EMA retest, so that's level 1 drop after this M. That's a retrace, that's drop 2, retrace, this is drop 3, into a W, rise 1, retrace, rise 2. It's possible that we have 1 more rise to go on Solana on the 4-hour time frame. That won't negate the M formation on the daily though, unless it breaks higher than the M. So what I would look out for on Solana, there's a liquidation level here at $158. I don't know if we're going to get that low. I like the level because it's around the 200 EMA. So essentially what we're kind of hoping is that Solana just continues down from here into that liquidation level like that, and bounces out of it. If that is to happen, we know that they were just coming to take this. Once they take it, we've got 3 decent liquidation levels above price. These were all from High Block. Let me just, I'll bring up High Block so you guys can see the levels that I'm actually talking about, because there's a lot more than this, but these are the major ones. So see here, there is a ton of liquidity above price on Solana. So, and there's not a lot below price. So that's why I'm kind of hoping they come down, spike into that level that I showed you, which is around here. And then they start coming up for this and up for this after that. If they do that, that's these levels here up to about, at this point in time, up to 188 at the highest level. But that would, if that were to happen, that would be the level 3 rise on Solana on the 4-hour time frame. So let's see if we get that. That's it, guys. I bloody got through it. I did it all, and we didn't die. So any questions, let me know. Also, I'm just going to show you these whilst I'll see if you guys have any questions. I just want to show you some of these trade alerts that we're doing, because it is a new thing that we're doing in Discord, and like I said, it's only part of the competition. So this is what we did for our last competition. We're going to be repeating this on this comp. So essentially what we do, we still want you to have some thinking space. So this is how a setup looks. We give you a range to enter, a range to put your stop loss, and different take profit levels. We call this a bank the green strategy. I won't go into detail about it, but the idea is that we accumulate, we compound kind of profits fast and quick in order to, win some rewards during the competition. And we had some massive winners on the last 𝗟𝗃 competition. So we're hoping to do the same for Bitget. You get all these setups. It's not just me, my team do setups as well. We've got heaps in here, and so far, like, the feedback from our community is pretty, let me find where is feedback, has been pretty good. Look at this, Tan, what a bloody legend. Massive trades there. Love the trade alerts, learned a lot. Trade alerts were awesome. Like to see them in future. Trade alerts were great for learning, having confidence to take the trade. Very useful when you're short on time. I love what I'm learning with TTC. Like, just amazing. Absolutely amazing. So thanks, guys, for participating, number 1. But number 2, if you're not in, like, I don't know what you're waiting for, because bull market's here. Like, let's make some fucking money. Like, right? Right? Am I right or wrong? Let me know in the comments. Okay. All right, is anybody, I've lost all the chat comments now, so I don't know if anyone wants me to look at anything in particular. Write it again if I missed it, and let me actually just try to quickly go to YouTube, and I hope it doesn't ruin anything. Wait, where will I find the link? I'll find it here. 1 second, because I can see your links faster if I do it from here. Phantom. Yeah, I've been looking at Phantom lately, actually, just for a trade. So let's have a look at Phantom together. Good suggestion. Wow, I have not looked on this for a very long time. Okay, so daily time frame, decent. If we have a look here, where is it? Breakout retail, that's great. It's above the 50 EMA, that's great. It just needs to hold. It's recovered some vectors, had one spike into the 50 EMA. On a higher time frame, it looks kind of good. 4 hour, obviously we don't have any volume being a weekend, but the 4 hour is still currently above the 200 EMA. Yeah, look, if on a lower time frame, if we get a little stop hunt or something like that to the downside that gives you a good entry, this does look like it should continue to the upside, especially because look at this vector right here, this one here, how it spiked back into the zone. So that's showing you the volume that buyers are waiting at, essentially, right? So if we're lucky enough to get a second dip into that and you get a similar candle, you get something bullish out of it, that is a pretty good retest zone to buy. May not come in there a second time though, so also just be prepared for this consolidation to just break out, and you may have to buy from there. What else? Rune. Oh, I forgot to tell you. So this is what I think I'm going to do with my life moving forward, and leave me a comment in the chat and let me know if you think this is a good idea. As you guys know, I've been doing Sunday updates for a really long time, like when I can do them and something doesn't get in the way. And I try to do other updates during the week. The problem that I have is because we are trying to time the points in the market where the price is about to move. Like we're trying to get that in. We have to A, wait for a signal, and then B, do the recording, edit, do the thumbnail, do the type. We have to do everything behind the scenes and then get it out to you before that actually moves. And most of the time we miss it because it just moves so fast, or by the time it's uploaded, it's already happened. So what I'm thinking to do is just do these Sundays live if I can get the internet not lagging on us. Just do these Sunday updates live around this time that we did today, and then do a second one on Thursday when we expect midweek reversal. Not exactly sure what time, probably sometime within the UK session. And that way, at least we can get our start of the week trade, our midweek reversal, and I don't have to edit afterwards where, you know, by the time I finished editing it, the move may have already happened. So let me know if you guys are happy with that. Smash the like button if you want that. And yeah, just let me know. Let me know if that's the kind of thing that you think we should do moving forward, just so we don't miss the good trades. And it's, you know, essentially we know when it's going to happen, but it's a lot of editing to get this information out in 20-minute videos. It takes like probably 3 hours to put out a 20-minute video. Anyway, looking at Rune, I don't particularly like the price action on Rune. Look, I see it's not necessarily a change in trend to me. This is my immediate thought when I look at this. This candle right here only came back to recover this vector, so it very well could be yet another lower high that may break down further. And the positive, it's holding the 50 EMA, but the negative is it's probably done nothing all weekend, right? Yeah, it hasn't really done anything all weekend. So on a high time frame, I'm not all that. Look here, see, you can see this is where the market massively fell away, and that's really all that price has come back to. So yeah, if this is going to continue to the upside, it's got to break above this. And to me, it looks like it's complete. The rises here are complete on the 4-hour time frame. How is PIF? Let's have a look. Geez, this doesn't look that great, does it? This really doesn't look that great. That is a very deep retracement. And also, where did it come back to? This green vector right here. The problem with okay, that's a full recovery of this green vector. The problem is if this doesn't change structure and create a higher high soon, the next vector is down here, but it's a blue one. So it's not even that strong volume. And you wouldn't really expect that to hold. And if it didn't, like, it's just, what's next? You know, it's really kind of not good. It really needs to hold here. So, and the thing is, you can't even really get involved in this. I'm on the daily time frame, mind you. you can't really get involved in unless it shows some strength and gets back above the 50 EMA, then it changes structure from there. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's not looking great. It just doesn't look great. Unless you get that change above the 50 EMA, I probably wouldn't touch it right here. Yeah. Yes, great idea. Yes. Discord rooms. What is Discord room? I don't know what that is. Yeah, PITH is ugly. I agree. Can't access Bitget from Canada. We do have a second option. It is in the description down below if you want to have a read of that. It just means that you won't be eligible for the Bitget prices, but you can still come and get access to the trade alerts. Can we get some SHIB TA? You absolutely can, because I was looking at this the other day too. Here, see? So again, it's hard on the altcoins are hard on the weekend because they're not going to have broken out yet. But so far, it's doing what I hoped it would do, which was W formation. We got, wait, let's get rid of this because it's irrelevant. We got this higher low here, and we were just awaiting the breakout, but it hasn't really done anything because it's a weekend. EMAs are now flat. Let's see if we've got, do we have SHIB here? Let's see where the liquidity is on it. By the way, guys, if you want high block, there's also a link in the description. I think you get 15% discount, but they have this limited time sale here, which is even bigger, so 60% off currently. All right, yes, so the liquidity is above price. That is a good sign. If they came for this, 2539506, 25, oh, that's not even very high at all. That's really nothing. Okay, well, the liquidity is above price. We're essentially just waiting the retest on SHIB. Let's look at the 4 hour. Yeah, nothing. EMAs are flat. Annoying. Filecoin. I'll do one more after this and then I'm going to go, because why does the internet hold out when we're doing altcoins? Yeah, I don't like this. I do not like this. Look at this range. Like they're accumulating for something big, and that's a little bit scary. But which way, I don't know. And the 50 and the 200 is above price. So the only way you'd get involved in Filecoin, because look, it's consolidating under the 200 EMA on the daily time frame. That's not positive. But if we, end up having a nice big bullish breakout, then that's what you'd be waiting for. It's got to get back above those EMAs and it's got to retest them. But if it doesn't do that, I would expect, this to break down further. It could get ugly. Check link. All right, link is the last one, my friends, and then I'm leaving you until we meet again in the Bitget comp. Okay, link. The good thing about link is how it held the 800 EMA a number of times. This was positive. We have a wick that retested the 50 EMA. That's also positive, but we haven't really done anything since. And I'll tell you, price action I hate is price action that goes like this, where it curves. That's usually bearish. So I don't actually quite like that right now. It could be, even though it's broken below the EMAs and then we had a vector that closed back above, this still could be a lower high that breaks down further, because all it's done at this point in time is recover this daily vector right here. So if this is going to continue, it's got to get above this red vector. But you wouldn't buy that, right? Because you don't buy at high prices. So your only choice to get involved in this would be if it came down, retested the 50 and 200 EMA, gave you bullish candlesticks, then you would buy and expect that it's going to break above that vector next. That's the only way you'd get involved in this. And it's possible that that will actually happen. However, yeah, when you have a look at that, what did I show you before? The totals here, if that ends up being a lower high that breaks down, then it's likely this is going to reject and break down further. So yeah, we'll see how we go with that. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Be sure to grab the link down below to jump in the Bitget competition. If you can't use Bitget, then there are other options down below to get into our Discord. If you want to learn this method in full, everything is down below for you to come and do that. And yeah, thanks for joining me. Sorry for the internet issues. And yeah, hopefully it gets better from here.